Wednesday, people. Finally, hump day. We made it to hump day at the middle of the week. And it's story time. Now, normally I start this story off drinking me a cup of coffee and smoking me a nice cigar for story time, ladies and gentlemen. But I'm gonna do something different. I don't feel like lighting it up right now. But story time nonetheless. And this is something different. Like, I try to throw you all a little bit of history, a little bit, of what's going on in today's world with the manosphere, red pill talk, passport bros, yada yada yada, etc., etc. But this is not a rant. This is actually story time. So sit back, get you some popcorn, get you a nice cup. Well, it's too early for that. It's in the morning. You're probably eating breakfast or something. However, it was once said, a legend about the beginning of a great empire that sprung on the shores of the Mediterranean and the Italian peninsula. And during this time, at the time, you had the Greeks and Macedonians, or the Macedonians fighting a war with the Persian Empire. Also, in the Mediterranean, on the west side of the Mediterranean, you had the Phoenicians. Later, that will become the kingdom of Hannibal. Well, the Carthaginian. It was Carthage now, but it was Carthage in the beginning. So, on the Italian peninsula, you had, the legend says, you had two sons, Romulus and Remus. Well, Romulus and Remus were abandoned. So a she-wolf adopted the two brothers, two twin brothers, Romulus and Remus. And both of them drunk from the teat of the female wolf. And as both of them grew stronger, they started to fight amongst each other over deer kills, all kind of stuff. So eventually, everything came to a head where Romulus and Remus got into a life or death struggle. Well, Romulus killed his brother Remus. This is your Cain and Abel story in the Bible. Now, from the murder or killing of Remus, Romulus, that's how the Roman Empire got started, due to Romulus. But that's just the folklore on how the Roman Empire was built. Actually, the Roman Empire, you had a Greek satellite state in the peninsula, in the Italian peninsula, of what you call today Tuscany. And there were other small little villages around the Etruscans that were majorly settled by mostly, people that were farmers, and they had livestock, they grew crops, but they were simple, small people. So what happened was, the Etruscans pretty much used to raid their towns and raid them for food, because the Etruscans, they didn't want to have to grow food, so either they'll raid the villages that surrounded their kingdom, or they'll basically subject them to basically being serfdom on their own land. So eventually, this prince went to one of their little villages, basically to get what you would call, these little kingdoms had to pay what you call tribute. So he went to get tribute. Well, he ran into this beautiful woman. And this beautiful woman, she was so attractive that the prince couldn't take his eyes off her. So he kidnapped her and took her. She was already promised to another nobleman amongst the villagers. So this created a tension between, this is where everything came to the head. The villagers got together. And what happened is they did a couple guerrilla raids on certain units in the Phoenicians, because keep in mind, the Phoenicians, not the Phoenicians, but the Etruscans were Greek people. So they couldn't fight them head on right off the bat. They had to do little guerrilla attacks and shit like that until they got other villagers to join them, and then they started training by modeling themselves after the Greek hoplite style, the Greek hoplus, or the Greek hoplite style. If you all know, during the Hellenistic period of Greece, they used to do what you call a lock shield formation, and they walk with their phalanx and spears in front, the thrust. If you ever seen 300, that's what hoplite style fighting was, where they locked their shields together and then they put the spears protruding out, like a turtle and a porcupine, a tortoise and a porcupine. That's what the hoplite style was, but locking shields. Well, they learned how to fight like that, and they started forging and making their own weapons and shit like that. So eventually they won a couple wars against the Etruscans, to eventually they destroyed the Etruscans and took their city in Tuscany. Their major city was called Tuscanatus, but they changed the city after the legend of Rome, Romulus, and that's how the city of Rome was born. Rome was born off of the mythology. All the Roman gods came from the Greek gods. They were plagiarized. Pretty much is how the Greeks plagiarized a lot of their deities off ancient Kemet. But that's how Rome started. And from that point on, Rome became a military power. And they went to war several times with the Phoenicians. And on top, before that, Alexander the Lesser, I call him Alexander the Lesser, he was gonna have an expedition to defeat the upstart Romans. Then he was gonna move on to Carthage, but he never got started because he passed away in Babylon. So that was the end of Alexander the Lesser's life. Basically, he was killed. He was broken in the Battle of Gaugamela in India. Not the Battle of Gaugamela, the Battle of Motan, where he won the victory against the Patadiya. I can't say it's an Indian name, but it was an Indian kingdom that he won a victory over in the Battle of Motan, which was one of the most bloody and glorious battles that Alexander damn near died in. He damn near died in that battle. He lost his horse Perdiccas. But in that case, that is how the Romans started. Well, this old Native American proverb where this man and his son, old man and son, was walking in the woods, and they found 2 wolves. So they adopted the 2 wolves. They fed both the wolves eventually killed the other wolf. And then the young boy asked his grandfather, why did that, he said, so why did that wolf got bigger and stronger? Why? He said, why is that? He said, grandson, that is the one you fed the most. Well, that's my story. I'll be doing a few more videos. Have a good morning, people. Over and out.